for what could eventually happen. As I started down this path, I got to a program called Special Forces Assessment and Selection. And it was there that something interesting happened in my body. A part of my body started to betray me. And the part of my body that actually started to betray me was my heart. And I don't mean my heart was failing, but my heart was saying something to me, which at the time I couldn't understand. And what it was saying to me was, this is not the path for you. But because I had this training, I could take that feeling and I could numb it. And I kept going. But my body started to listen to my heart. And the course didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And so I decided at that point, okay, maybe this isn't the path for me. Ended up getting out of the active duty of the Army. I stayed in the reserves and I started to say, what do I want to do? And that question of what is this thing called leadership was right there. Started looking around. Luckily, I stumbled into a small to medium sized leadership and change coaching and consulting firm here in Albuquerque in New Mexico and was hired as a quote unquote coach. And my first day on the job was coaching underground supervisors at a palladium and platinum mine in the northwestern part of the United States. And the good news was being in an underground mine was a lot like being in the Army. Very harsh environment. You wear a lot of safety equipment, very salt of the earth people, and I really took to it. And after about 3 years, I had like 600 hours of coaching under my belt and decided, you know what, this is the path for me. So I started looking around, decided to get certified with the ICF. It just so happened in that year, 2004, 2005, an organization called the Newfield Network was having a program that year at Villanova University in Pennsylvania. And because of that, the Army said they would pay for it. So I went. And I showed up the day one, and we were at this executive education center. And I walked into the room and I was overwhelmed because I walked into this room and all of a sudden, all I saw was happiness. All I saw was people who were light. They were dancing. They were having fun. They were laughing. And my body, though, said, this is dangerous. So my body actually did what it had been trained to do for the previous 10 years, and it armored up like I was going into combat. That served me. But fast forward to the second day, and I was sitting in the audience, and Julio Alaya, who was the founder of Newfield, was talking, and I realized my body was numb. It was numb, not like it couldn't feel. It was numb like it was starting to feel. It was as if my heart was actually getting a say in it. My heart was saying, this is the path. And people would ask, how was Newfield? And I'd say, it was awesome. And they'd say, what did you learn? I'd say, I have no idea. But I knew this was the path. So I stayed on it. And then the last phase of this kind of somatic awakening was 3 years later. I ended up at an organization called the Strozzi Institute, where I was learning somatic leadership under Richard Strozzi Heckler, who's kind of a guru in the domain of somatics. He's a 7th level Dan in Aikido, and he literally has a leadership dojo where we embody practice. And I won't go into the exact story, but we were in a situation where I watched Richard navigate a situation where there was a participant in the class who was in extreme rage to the point that he was taking a staff and he was striking a practice piece of plastic. And there was rage in the room. And I would listen as Richard was right there with him. And as I observed, Richard was in rage also. And he was there to help this person navigate it. And as I looked around the room, the majority of the participants in the room who were students also had looks of fear. They had sheer terror. And I was actually kind of in amazement because this was the first time that I saw that Richard had an ability to actually go from rage to 10 minutes later, he was laughing. He was loving. And it was where I started to realize, oh, this thing called the body, I can actually have my body, I can have my heart, and they can be integrated. And so I can start to navigate the world in a way where it didn't matter what the world was doing. I was better equipped to navigate the world regardless of that. I could show up as I wanted to, right? So this idea that we're going to explore on our call is there is so much wisdom in the body, but for most of us, we don't know how to access that. We don't know how to tap that. And that's what we're going to explore. A lot of my journey of studying the body was influenced by a book called Emotional Anatomy by an author named Stanley Kellerman. And this book is out of print. It was printed in the 70s. But in there, Kellerman looks at the idea of the body as liquidity in partnership with vessels and tubes. So what did he mean by that? Well, this is how I started to see the body. And if we go back, if we think about the human body is fundamentally made up of cells. One study says we may be up to 7 trillion cells, an average human being. So if we take, though, just one cell, a very simple cell, and in our case, we're going to look at a skin cell. But if we look at a cell can fundamentally, what's it made up of? It's made up of liquid and some DNA and other chemicals and so on and so forth. But think of a water balloon. A cell is basically like a water balloon. And what it can do fundamentally is either expand or contract to deal with the world around it, right? So if you think of your skin, if you push on your skin, the cells are pushed together and they're contracted, right? Or if I turn my wrist and my skin is expanded, it expands. And so if we take a cell, we put it into a bunch of them, cells form layers. Layers form tubes. Think about veins, arteries, think about muscle fibers, right? Tubes form organs. Think about what kind of organs? Well, heart, expand, contract. Gut, expand, contract. Lung, expand, contract. Muscles, expand, contract. So we are actually this liquid accordion. And this liquid accordion, what it does is it expands and contracts as we navigate the world. And it expands and contracts to help us navigate the world. And how we do that then determines what we see in the world, because how we expand and contract does more than just help us navigate the world. It also is how we create moods and emotions, right? If you think about the brain is part of a limbic system. The limbic system is the body. All of the sensors for the brain are the body: eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin, heart, gut, genitals, hands, feet. All of these sensors collect data, which is then transferred up to the brain, which is then translated into a mood or an emotion for us to take action. And this is relevant in coaching because the liquid accordion we are does not see the world as it is, it sees the world as we are. So we are this liquid accordion. Because of that, our anatomy is our destiny. Okay? What do we mean by that? Well, what is somatics? So we're going to define somatics, and I'll go through this quickly and then I'll go through it slowly. The living human body in its physicality, shape, and presence as it relates to how an individual perceives, senses, navigates, understands, and interacts with the world around themselves. So let's go slowly through that, right? A living human body in its physicality, the actual mass of us, our shape, right? Some of us are tall, some of us are short. Some of us, our faces are very round, others are very rigid. So our literal shape and presence, how we show up as it relates to how an individual perceives. What do we see? What do we sense? How do we navigate, understand, and interact with the world around themselves? Right? So we are this liquid accordion navigating the world. And so instead of talking about it, what we're going to do now is I'm going to offer that we experience it. So let's play. Now, for some of you who are more experienced coaches, this may make sense, but my assessment is there's going to be people in the audience who have not been in coaching, maybe don't have a perspective of it. But when we're doing coaching, we have what we call an arc of coaching. And I'm going to have you come along here in just a second. But generally, we start the coaching conversation with a question, which is, what do you want to work on? So the coach and the coachee have a conversation, and we ask this question, what is it you want to work on? And generally, and this is a broad generalization, a coachee shows up to a conversation with something in their world that is not right. From their perspective, they're saying, this isn't the way I want it to be. Maybe it's a relationship that isn't serving them. Or maybe they're in a job where they have an issue with their boss or their team. So what happens, the coachee comes, the coach says, let's see, what do you want to work on? And what we're going to do is we're going to act as if that's going to happen, because obviously I can't ask, the 150 of you on the call, what do you want to work on? But what I'd like to have each one of you do is think about a situation in your life where you are dissatisfied. Now, the beautiful thing is you're not going to have to share this with anybody, so you can go as deep as you want. And again, maybe it's a relationship that maybe you need to have some conversations in it. Or maybe there's a work setting, or there's a situation, or maybe you've got a big event coming up and you have a story that you're not ready for, whatever it is. So I'm going to ask you to bring it alive. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to ask you, if you can, to stand up. So if you're in a place you can stand up, please do. If you're not, you're driving, whatever the case may be, obviously put safety first. But I'm going to have you stand up. And what we're going to do is I want you to bring this dissatisfaction alive. I want you to think about the situation. I want you to feel what you're feeling. I want you to breathe like you breathe. I want you to go there to the extent that you can almost taste it, right? So I'm going to ask you to give us an Academy Award winning performance. Now, don't worry, not everybody's going to be watching you because they're too busy in their own story. But if you need to move, move. If you need to do something in your body, do it. But bring this alive. And I'm going to be quiet for about 20 seconds. And then when I come back, I'm going to walk you through a little exercise. So bring your story alive. So as we do this part, we call this the scanner exercise, or the scanner technique. And as we do this, what I'm going to ask you to do is start to notice things like sensation, awareness, temperature, pressure, energy, or a lack thereof. And as you notice things in your body, I'm going to walk you through your body. Just notice them, but don't change them. Just be curious, see what you see. And again, don't change them. So start with your head. Notice your head. Is it up? Is it down? Notice your forehead, your cheeks, your jaw. Is there tension there? If there is, just let it be. Don't change it. Notice your eyes. Are they open? Are they closed? If they are open, are they focused? Are they relaxed? Notice your breathing. Do you notice your breathing? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Is it slow? Is it fast? Whatever you notice is fine. Don't change it. Notice into your neck and your shoulders. Do you notice your neck and your shoulders? Is there tension in your shoulders? Are your shoulders up? Are they down? Are they back? Are they forward? Notice your back. Do you notice anything in your back? Move to your front. Do you notice your heart? Can you feel your heart? Move into your lungs. Again, can you notice your breathing in your lungs? Notice your internal organs. Is there a pit in your stomach? Is there butterflies? Move to your arms and your hands. What do you notice in your hands? Are they clenched? Are your palms sweaty? Are they in your pockets? Whatever the case is, just don't change it. It is what it is. Move down to your hips. Are your hips forward? Are they back? Move into your legs. Do you notice your legs? Are they strong? Do they feel weak? Do you notice your quads, your knees? Notice your calves. Are you aware of your calves? Notice your feet. Are you on your heels, your toes? Is one foot in front of the other? And lastly, notice your energy. Do you notice your energy in this body? Is it more external than internal? Is it blocked somewhere? Is it locating from one place and emanating from there? And now, what I'm going to have you do is take this body and shake out of it. So let go of it. And what I'm going to have you do is come on back. And as we do this, I'm going to have you, if you can, write into the chat block. What did you notice in your body? But what did you notice physiologically? Right? We'll get into moods and emotions or anything like that. But what physiological awareness did you have? And then go ahead and take a few moments to write that. And then Marta will start sharing what she heard or what you wrote down.
Prof, do you wanna stop sharing so we can see everyone or not?
Yeah, I could do that. Great.
Perfect. So calm. First one, Rob told calm, hot and a little nervous. You can put either Portuguese or English. Like I have a say. I tightened up, bent over, held my stomach, and held my breath. Hungry. My legs were stiff and I could not feel my heart. Breathing quickly, heads down, tense and contracted. Physical discomfort and back pain. My feet are cold. Um, Cold hands, tensions in the shoulders, tense, tense and shallow breath, sore for PT, more tense, shoulders up and hands closed and breathing out, pressure on my head, buzzing like energy stuck, tension in the jaws, hips forward, hands clasping one another.
So we'll stop right about there. Okay. Now I want you to write something again. If you were to assign moods and or emotions, what mood or emotional state would you say you're in this body? So go ahead in the chat box again. What moods or emotions would you say you're experiencing? And Marta, if you'll read some of those off, please.
Sorry.
There we go.
Vigilance, anxious, slightly anxious, curious, worried, tense, frustration, sadness, hurt, serious, calm, um, um, frustration, low energy, anger, anxiety, calm, uncertainty, unmotivated and frustrated, anxiety, on guard and anger, drained, frustrated, anxiety, emotions shut down, irritation,
Okay.
frustration.
Okay. We'll stop there. And then lastly, if you will, in one or two sentences, in one or two sentences only, what was the theme or the story that you were telling yourself in your mind? So, what was the theme? What was the meta story? I'm not good enough. I can't do this, but keep it in one or two sentences only.
Everything is out of my control. I'm tired. I'm stuck. It's never going to work and I'm not good at this. Loneliness. Oh, hold on. Things have changed. I gotta do something about it. Not good enough. I'm right,
Hmm.
but I can't seem to get my point across. I'm not good
Okay.
enough. It's going to be hard. Don't have the energy to do what I want to do. I don't know what to
Okay.
do.
Awesome. So we'll start there. Now, if we were one on one in a coaching call, what I would likely do is we would kind of build on that. And I would have you assign of the emotions you experience, which emotions would you say is the best descriptor of this? Right. And so hurt, serious, anxious, anger. And you may say, you know what, this is really anger Marta, because Marta is going to be my guest of honor. And so angry Marta shows up and says, you know what? I can't do this. I'm angry, I'm hurt. And so, what we would actually do in the coaching conversation is then spend a little time here because there's fundamentally one or two directions we could go. We could spend time exploring, why are you angry? What did they do? What's the situation? Or we could spend time, how would you like to show up with this situation if you were to bring your best self with it? Now, generally, most people say, I want my best self to come to it. And occasionally somebody will say, oh, I want to go to the story. And I'll actually say, well, we're not going to do that because that is a story. And so what we're going to explore is, what if you could do this same, look at the same event, but you at your best could show up as your best self. So here's what I'm going to offer we're going to do. We're going to do it again. But this time when you stand up, I'd like you to bring your best self to this. Now, there's several ways you can access. Maybe there was a time in your life when you were game on. You were at your best. Or maybe there's a place that's as far away from anger as you could be. Or maybe you're going to access a mood or an emotion of a way you know you want to be. So I'm going to have you stand up and we're going to do it again. And this time, bring your best self. Bring the you that you want to this situation. Okay. So go ahead, stand up. If you need to turn your camera off, that's fine. And again, like we did before, you can bring this body alive. You can move, you can stand different. If you need to get up, move around, whatever you need to do, this is you bringing you at your best self. So breathe like you'd breathe, stand like you'd stand, think like you'd think, experience the emotion that you would like to show up in as you navigate this situation. So again, I'll be quiet for about 15 seconds. And like we did before, we're going to bring a scanner through your body. And like we did before, I want you to notice things like sensation, awareness, temperature, pressure, energy, or a lack thereof. And as you notice, whatever you notice, don't change it again, but just be aware. And again, notice your head this time. Is your head up? Is it down? Notice your forehead, your cheeks, your jaw. Is there tension there this time? What about your eyes? Are they open? Are they closed? If they're open, are they more expansive? Are they more focused? Notice your breathing this time. Has it changed? Is it deeper? Is it more shallow? Is it slower? Is it more fast? Move into your neck and your shoulders. Do you notice anything in your neck and your shoulders? Is it different than the previous time? Whatever you notice is fine. Don't change it. Move into your back. Do you notice your back? What about your front? Do you notice your heart this time? If so, what do you notice? Notice your lungs. Is your breathing different? Move into your internal organs. Is the pit in your stomach still there, or has it disappeared? Notice your arms, your hands. Are they different? Are they moving this time? And whatever you notice is fine. Move to your pelvic region. What do you notice in your pelvic region? Are your hips forward? Are they back? Move into your legs. What do you notice in your legs this time? Can you feel your legs? Are they stronger? Do you have more tension? Are your knees locked this time? What about your calves, your feet? What do you notice about your feet this time? Is there a difference? And lastly, notice the energy this time. Do you notice the energy? If so, is it different? Does it emanate from someplace different? Is it more powerful? Right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to come on back, but don't leave this body. Stay, come sit down, but stay in this body. And if you want to keep standing up, that's fine. But like we did before, what physiological awareness did you notice in this body? And go ahead in the chat room, just write what you noticed this time.
Deeper breath, muscles less tense, lighter, relaxed posture, relaxed. straighter, longer, alive, free, flowing so much lighter, jaws relaxed, light, relaxed, happier, clear mind, much better, straight but more relaxed posture, um, erect posture, um, head up front, energy shift, heads up, focused eyes, straight through the top of the head, taller, weight centered, eye gaze forward and on horizon, calm and open mind,
Awesome.
calm. Okay.
Yeah. And if you were now to assign moods and or emotions to this body, what moods or emotional space would you say you were in this body? And go ahead and type that into the chat.
Joy, lighter, wonder and joy, brave and confident, calmer, joy, peaceful, at ease, curious, settled, relaxed, energy, joy, relaxed, enthusiastic, and hope, feeling possibilities, lighter in head, ready, calm and ready, excited and enthusiastic, powerful to
Okay.
start, confident and hope, confident.
Awesome. Thank you. And then lastly, in one or two sentences and one or two sentences only again, what was the theme or the story that was running through your mind this time? So go ahead. What was the story this time?
Feeling possibilities and more confident. I can do anything I put in my mind to. I put my mind to. You can do it, man. I can do this. Standing in my power. We can do it. Outlook is so much better. I don't have to react. I did. I I'm so lucky, grateful. I'm so sorry, guys. It's rolling. I'm ready to get started. You got this. I can regenerate and transform a new angle. I'm infinite, challenge ready. Above it all, it can be done with lightness. Let's go. Identity
Okay.
has been empowered.
Thanks, Marta. All right. So if previously it was angry Marta that showed up, and now let's just say it's brave Marta, what's possible now? Right. And I don't know if you were listening, but if you listen to the stories, the what people were saying to themselves, very different between the two situations. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of pause the coaching because I want to debrief this and talk a little bit about what did we just do, and then we'll come back because we're not done with the coaching call yet. Okay. And so what did we just do? The coachees showed up, you each showed up with a story. And whether you realized it or not, this story was actually in your body, right? And so how it showed up determined what you see. And so the analogy I use is a Rubik's Cube. Okay. So if you didn't know what a Rubik's Cube was, and I said, what do you see? Well, who would care to share? What do you see looking at this Rubik's Cube? But you don't know what a Rubik's Cube is. We'd see 9 white squares. And the reality is because that is the observer I am. I am seeing this from this perspective. This is the thing, the relationship, the boss, whatever the thing is. But what happens is I've showed up with a body that sees this, an emotional space that sees this, and a story that sees this. But this isn't the thing. This is just my interpretation. I see the world not as it is. I see the world as I am in that moment. So we all came, we have a story, right? And we think that's the reality. But we don't see that that's our reality, that's our story. So we have a breakdown, we have something that coaching wants to work on. We then look at how are you currently looking at it? And then we shift, how would you like to look at it? What would serve you to navigate this thing? And so instead of changing the thing, we look at, what if I change me? And I start to look at it from a perspective that I go, oh, that's going to actually serve me. I can do this. There's a path forward, right? And so now what we've done is we've got a breakdown, we've got a current observer, we now have a future observer that is seeing the exact same thing, but who did the work? I'm not, as a coach, I'm not doing the lifting. The coachee, you're looking at, how am I looking at it? And I always marvel when I do this, because the range of emotions can be profound, right? Anger, sadness, frustration, all of these things. And then the new observer, lightness, joy, curiosity, playfulness. But the coachee is doing the work. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop there, and I want to open it up to questions. Because, and you can, if you want to share your situation, what you notice is this, we can kind of debrief it and explore, how did you see this same thing differently? So obviously there's a lot of people here. So for some of you, little side note, your body's actually going to betray you right now. And your body's not going to let you talk, right? The body actually will trump. So I'm going to ask some of you to be brave, take a deep breath, settle into your body. And who would care to share any questions you have or thoughts on that as we unfold it? Because we're not done with the call yet.
And you can, in the button called React, you just can raise your hand and we can pick it up and put you in spotlight to talk with Prof.
Yeah. And if you need to, you can also type your question in the chat box if you'd like to.
Okay.
It looks like Joseph, you're up first.
Yes. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Okay, fantastic.
You're muted. Let's see. I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Oh boy.
Not sure.
No, it's just because he's in
Oh, you
English.
can hear. I can't for some reason.
You are in the translation.
Okay, I can't.
Because you are in translation and he's in English. You have to go
just make
back
sure
to...
something's not on my end.
Me either.
Yeah.
Say something, Joseph.
Hello? Hello?
Again?
Hello? Hello?
What about you
some
go
people
to
can,
the
some people can't. It might
what
be with
about
the
you go
translation.
to the English channel, please? Everybody that wants to speak with
so you do.
Prof,
So
go to the English.
let's do this. Joseph, I'm going to see
Pessoal,
if we
dá
can
a
see what
instrução
Megan
em
has to say.
português, porque daí
there we
eles
go.
vão
Yes, there we
ouvir.
go.
Okay, I went to the English channel. Thank you, Martha.
There we go. Yes.
I think it worked. So, yeah, my question is, as I love the experience, but as I was feeling the differences between the two approaches, I couldn't help but say that it would take a lot for me to want to come into that second way of my body feeling when my emotions are driving me so hard to feel the first way I was feeling about my situation. Mine was just, I had a friend where we were having a discussion that kind of turned argumentative. And I just really felt like I couldn't get anything across to him. But after I went through the exercise, I realized my best self would have done things differently. But I guess my question is, how do I bring my best self when I'm just so inclined to pop off the first person?
Well, so I'm gonna answer that with a joke, but I'm not trying to be a Weisenheimer. But in the U.S., we have a statement: "How do you get to Carnegie Hall?" And you switch back. Well, yeah, practice, right? And so part of the reason the body is such a powerful domain is, I'm going to offer, Joseph, you actually have been practicing that other body, the body that gets triggered, right? And so in that moment, right, the body has that tension, and that's actually fueling the emotion. And because you've been practicing it, we're good, right? So think about a relationship that maybe isn't as ideal as it should be. it likely didn't just happen overnight, maybe over time. Or situations arise and our bodies go, oh, I know how to deal with this, right? My example, my body armors up. So my body was actually training to fight. And I didn't know how to listen to my heart. So the easy answer, which is also the hard answer, is practice. Right? Now, because the call isn't done, I'm going to give you some ideas of what to practice. So I'm going to leave you hanging for a little bit.
All right.
Before we because we still have some work to do in the call, right? Because your point is very valid. Yeah, that's great if I could just show up at my best self. But in the moment, I'm not my best self. Yeah, we'll explore that. So we got a little bit more to go. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah.
Great.
All right, who's next?
Megan, can you raise your hand again so I can pick you among all of the 120?
I'm on camera. It came off of me.
Okay, let me from here.
You hear me?
Megan. Megan, I'll spotlight you so you can do your question.
There we go.
Okay.
Megan.
Hi. I didn't have a question. You had asked
And you're also muted for me.
Yeah, you need to go to the English channel.
How do I do that?
So go down at the bottom of your screen. You'll see it'll say in my case, it's the second globe looking thing from the right. And it should say English or Portuguese.
And I went to more, and then there's a little world with language selections. From the
there
three
are three dots.
more.
Yeah.
3 dots, interpretation, and go to English channel.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, everyone, for your help. Just more of a comment, Croft. I was marveled at how quickly this promoted a shift from body to mind, like just taking this on as a coach and then using it with clients, how quickly it promotes a shift. And in my opinion, a sustainable shift, because if you're locked into that body somatics, you're acting from that space. So thank you. This was transformative.
Yeah. And I would even say it's even more. One of the challenges in coaching, the easier path a lot of times to go down is the story. Right? So we get to the story and, it becomes a circuitous path. And we just keep going around. Yeah, but you don't understand. He's a jerk, right? Because we haven't shifted the observer. And so even though I may say, well, all right, fine, I'm going to go have the conversation with him, but I haven't shifted my body. Right? And a way I create this image, if you think about it, for those of you that know sports, think about how would in a football game, a linebacker, like we're talking American football here, and I know that football has a different meaning in Brazil. But I'm talking American football here, right? But a linebacker in a football game is getting ready to hit somebody. How would they stand? Right? There would be tensions, there would be energy because they're literally getting ready to take their body and hit. Now, think to a different situation. How would a grandparent stand if their 3-year-old granddaughter is coming up the driveway and they haven't seen them for a couple, 3-6 months? They would likely do this. Right? Now, what would happen to me if I was a grandparent and I stood like this with my grandkids versus what would happen to me in a football game if I stood like this? Right? So I make the assessment the body's actually the holy grail. Because if I shift my body, the story has to shift. Okay? So everybody, real quick little practice, and you can use this in your coaching. So what I'm going to have you do is I want all of you to sit back in your chair if you're sitting. I want you to take your hands and I want you to relax your hands as much as you can. Let your hands sit on the armrest. Open your palms and do everything you can to relax your hands. And now, without moving your hands, I want you to get angry. I want you to get really angry, but you can't move your hands. Right? My assessment is you would not be able to get angry. Because when we get angry, if you think about it, the most likely thing we do somatically is we clench our fist. When I clench my fist, every muscle going to my core is engaged. Right? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take energy, I'm going to put it somewhere. Conversely, if I relax my hand, my core relaxes. Right? Another one, I call them pivot points. Here's another simple practice. Try this. Relax your jaw. Right? Put a little smile on your face with a relaxed jaw. And again, without moving your jaw, I want you to get angry. Right? And I'm going to make an assessment. You can't. Your body won't allow it. Right? Because to get angry, and I learned this, real quick little story. I learned this from my father. Because when my father would get angry, he would bite down right here and he would say, GD. And if you watch my brother and I, when we get angry, we are literally mirrors of him. And when this would happen for me, I'm an avid gardener, and one of our dogs would pull out a tree I just planted and turn it into a bone. I would come out and instantly I would bite down on my bottom right canine tooth, which allowed the energy to focus. And what I realized, there was a direct correlation between how angry I was and how hard I was biting down. Right? And my assessment is all of you probably have similar somatic cues. And we're going to talk about that when we close the call. So great. Other thoughts, other questions?
Don't be shy.
Yeah. And again, I always love this because this is where the body betrays us. Because I know some of you have questions. And I know your body's saying, yeah, but I don't want to draw attention.
Okay, Luciana. I'll put you on spotlight.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Croft?
I can, yes.
Yesterday, I took my niece to the doctor, to the gynecologist for the first time, and we were talking about her mood swings. And the gynecologist asked what was the mood that was prevalent, and she said that she was angry all the time. And then the doctor said something that's now, I mean, I wanted you to help me understand, because she said something like, oh, that's very good, because anger is the one emotion you can do something about, because it's behavior. So I'm taking that, and I'm taking this experience with the hands loose and jaw loose and relaxed, and trying to get angry. And I felt that was impossible, as you said. So is that the way in, like how we can sort of begin to train it somehow?
Well, so my training is as an ontological coach, right? So ontology is the study of being human. And we look at two main ideas. One is called the OR, the observer we are, sees and takes actions and gets results. And then we look at the idea of what makes us the human observer, our body, our moods and emotions, and our stories. So moods and emotions we look at as a predisposition to action. So if I'm in anger, we can look at anger from three different perspectives, right? So first of all, how is it caused? It's caused because I have an assessment, a story that something was not fair or something was done to me in some form, right? That shows up in our body as tension, right? With a desire on some form. The behavioral predisposition is to strike back or get even, right? So that body, in that moment, the observer I am is that there's an issue here and I need to get even with it. But will that be the best path? is that going to serve me? Now, in the moment, right, in the body, and we could go deep into this, and I'm not a biologist, but the idea that we see the world not as it is, we see it as we are. So we have these stories and we want to take action. But in that moment, if I'm angry, I may actually damage the one thing I care about. And so we look at it as, what if I could shift and find some sort of mastery where I could go, how would I like to be with this? Right? In that moment, the body is taking care of us, right? Because the body actually has a very serious role. And one of the main things it does is what? Keeps us alive. Right? Why is public speaking one of the most feared things for most people? I would offer, if we go all the way back to when we were very, very early in our evolution, what was our biggest threat? Our biggest threat was actually getting thrown out of our village, our clan. Because if I got thrown out, I was actually going to perish. So the body goes, well, here's the situation. Maybe I don't want to draw attention to myself. And so the body says, I'm not going to let us do this. Right? Serves us, but now it may also be the thing that causes us to not have the conversation we want to have. Right? So I don't know if that's helpful, Luciana. I don't know if there's a relevance there, but I would love your thoughts.
I think it does make some sense, but I think I have to digest a little bit to be sure that I can see. I followed you. I'm also an ontological coach, so I followed you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to begin. I'm beginning to make the bridges with what you said about changing it. I can see how we can change it from the body, and I'm thinking behavior is action. Behavior is the body. Is in the body.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's the bridge. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I maintain, right, again, if I go back to that idea of relaxing my body, I can't be angry if I relax my body. And if we think of almost every discipline, yoga, mindfulness, martial arts, all of them have this idea in some form that if I can control my mind by controlling my body, and I can control my body by controlling my mind. And so all of them have this idea of center in some form, of being in choice. Right? But if I'm angry and I've got this tension, I'm not in choice. And my body's energy is going somewhere, which, okay, I may be solving this, but now I'm actually vulnerable in other areas. Right? So I think about my situation. My body is was trained to kill and prepare to die. Well, that's not something the body takes lightly. So learning how to not, be mad at it or but to go, oh, that's my body taking care of me in those situations. It's a tool. My body's saying, here's how I can solve this. So awesome. Well, thank you, Luciana. Other thoughts or questions? Probably got time for about a couple more questions, maybe.
Everybody's so shy.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to propose is we're going to pick back up the coaching call. And we're going to kind of, how do we wrap the last part of it in? Because the coachee showed up, said, I've got this thing I want to work on, right? I've got my current observer, I've got my future observer. But the last part of the call, we kind of bring it all to closure. And for those of you that know the PCC markers, marker number 8 is when we kind of close the call, wrap it up, right? But we have to explore one thing, because if, let's say, our coachee has realized, you know what, I want to show up in this situation as my best self. I want to show up as calm Marta or centered Marta. Well, as I was talking to Joseph, the idea is I maybe have been practicing angry Joseph. And that, in that situation, that's the me that's likely going to show up unless I start new practices. But what happens a lot of times is what we think is the new practice is, well, I'm just going to think positive, or I'm just going to do these things. I want to offer, I think, where the most powerful practice comes is to practice the new body. Not think about it, but if I want to practice calm Marta, the practice is practicing calm Marta. And when we went through the scanner, and obviously we didn't do this because there were so many people, but if we go through and maybe you realize I have tension in my jaw, well, what can be a very simple practice with your jaw? I can start to just be aware of, how does my jaw show up? It's contracted. Oh, well, what if I just start practicing relaxing my jaw? Or what if I'm always angry and I'm always going? What if I just practice walking on my heels? Right? If you ever try this, you might be amazed. When you're in a hurry, how's your body? It's forward. I'm on my toes. Well, if I walk on my heels, guess what that does to my body? I slow down. Or maybe my practice is to just breathe. Slow my breathing down, right? Think about this. Of all the things we do as humans, for instance, I cannot control my heartbeat. I can influence it, but I can't control it. It's going to do what it does. But what is the one thing I do every moment I'm alive that I can, with practice, start to get good at controlling? That's breathing, right? Elite performers, what the research shows, in the moment when they're performing their elite, whatever they do, they're breathing like they've been practicing, right? In flow states, when we're at our best, when we're performing at a high level, I'm breathing whatever is normal for that situation. Now, it might be elevated because I'm running or I'm shooting a basketball or whatever. But in that moment, my breathing is what I can control, right? So that can be a very simple practice. Okay? Now, let me get back to my slides and then we'll wrap this up. So, oops, where did it go? Just a sec. Stop. There we go. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's the idea I want to offer as kind of a takeaway with somatics. If I shift my observer, right? If I access my body's ability to listen, I can start to listen to my body, and now I can start to influence how I show up. Right? So with that, what's next? For those of you, we have a somatic coaching in action program. I'm not trying to sell it here. The other thing is, I want to really point out liquidaccordion.com. So I've spent the last 5 years writing a book on this exact subject. And the takeaways I want you to take for this: the body is the holy grail. It's the holy grail of action and change. I shift the body, I shift the observer. But the only way I can do that is through practice. Right? So how do we get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. If you're an active coach and you're looking, the scanner technique was profound for you. It's actually in my book. It's chapter 31. There's an actual script of how to do this where you can just literally read it and do what you need to do. And so I'll leave you with this thought by a man named W. Edwards Deming, who was big in post-World War II world, helping specifically Japan evolve. But one of my favorite quotes from him: it is not necessary to change because survival is not mandatory, right? So shift your body, become the change you want to become. And with that, I say thank you, and we'll turn it over to Marta.
Well, thank you, Croft, but I think that you turn over to everyone because it's an open space for questions, doubts, comments, whatever. Please raise your hands and let's do it together with Croft.
Well, thank you.
Not everyone together at the same time, please. One at a time.
And be brave in your body. This is a safe place.
I have a question, Croft.
Yeah.
Here in Brazil, we say that people are so much into the body and emotions, but when we are in the coaching session, sometimes it's like a taboo just to go directly into questions or to experiences, to feel emotions or to feel the body or to describe the body. So how do you what's your experience in dealing with some resistance with this kind of traditional coaching, just to sit down and talk when you have this resistance with the coachee?
Well, I like to just show up and be present with them. And usually the body starts to show up anyway, right? Because we'll be talking. I noticed this early on. I'd be talking to somebody and they'll be talking about something and then their voice will do this. And it's just a slight little change in their voice or a crack in the voice, or I'll notice their eyes, there's just a little bit of a tear forming, right? And what I learned was usually that's where the path needs to go, right? If I go back to my journey, my heart was the one that started to say, no, this isn't the path. But I didn't know how to listen to it. So as a coach, what I'm doing is helping people to maybe be curious about that. And ask them, so what did you notice? I got to share. I noticed X. Right? Did you notice anything? And usually that starts the conversation, right? Because what brings us to coaching is not logic. What brings us is the heart, is the emotions, is the body. That's why we seek to change, right? So I always just, we'll show up and we'll see. And usually we get on the right path fairly quickly.
Thank you, Croft. We have a question here that Eleni asked to come back to the slide of the book, of your book.
Yeah. Okay.
And please, if you want to do, we have another question here. Can I do this?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah.
So Mauricio you have a question here. What kind of questions are you using to ask them at the beginning of the session? Great question. Thank you, Mauricio.
Well, I will say I'm asking, they're question of practice, but one of the things I would offer as a practice from a somatic perspective is learning how to turn your body into what we call a somatic tuning fork. So I'm listening with my body. So we make the distinction that hearing is biological. So I can hear the word cat, but listening is interpretive. I hear the word cat, but I assign my meaning to it. So when I'm listening, when I'm asking questions, I'm not just asking questions, I'm actually listening with my body. Where is their emotion? What is their body sharing with me? And so by being a somatic tuning fork, it's not that I'm mirroring them exactly, but I am simply listening with my body to see what's happening in their body. There's tension. I'm curious about that. I sense anger in my body. Not it's my anger, but it's there. I'm sensing that. And that a lot of times informs my questions. So as a somatic or ontological coach, one of the things I share is the questions don't usually come from here. They come from here. The wholeness of the observer, right? And it goes back to that early quote I said, the body already knows how to listen. But what happens, we may not know how to listen to our body. But my assessment is the more you start to listen with your body and just get curious, right? Curiosity, that's an emotional space that lives in the body, the questions will come.
Okay, we have another question. Two questions here.
Yeah.
From Emilia. Do you regularly incorporate the scanner system in the coaching sessions? When most often? What's your recommendation?
I go wherever. I'm just putting this slide up because people ask about it. I go wherever the situation launches or needs it. I just wrote the word launch. But one of the things, the reason I do this, in some form, I'm doing this all the time because I'm listening for what's their story, what's their body, what's their emotional space. And in that, I then let the questions just come out. So I don't necessarily do it every time. But if the coachee is open to it, I do it early on. And then one of the things that I enjoyed, or I think is very helpful, if we have, for instance, overwhelmed Marta, and Marta's aware of that, and then she's got calm Marta, I may say, hey, you remember our last session we talked in the scanner technique, you talked about overwhelmed Marta? Who's showing up today? Right? Check in with your body. Where are you at right now? Are you calm? If not, what would it serve you if we kind of got to calm Marta or we got to centered Marta? And we just practice from there. Right? So back to the original idea, what you're actually doing is I'm teaching my body to be my instrument for coaching so that I can help the coachee access their body. And how do I get good at that? Practice, 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 practice. So.
Great. Thank you, Croft. One more question.
Yeah.
I hear from Samantha Levine. I hear about emotions being stored or held in the body. Can you talk about what that means and what it looks and feel like to release them?
Yeah. So, right. So if we think about moods and emotions, a predisposition to action. Okay. So if we think about human beings on a typical day, you and I literally experience millions of data points in the world, sights, sounds, temperature, all these things. We have to have a way to make sense of that. And the way the body does it is moods and emotions, right? They're a predisposition to action. So the body, remember, the brain is part of a limbic system. All of the sensors are the body, right? The hands have more nerve receptors than anywhere in the body. But guess where else does? The heart, the gut, the genitals, the skin, the hands, the feet, right? And so this liquid accordion is bringing data in. It's going to the brain, and the brain is then creating stories with that, right? But think about it. If I said something to you which was shocking, the brain would go, and I'm slowing this down, I just got data. This data is potentially life-threatening. Suck in oxygen to flood the system. The eyes open up. I'm pulling back to scan the horizon so I can very quickly fight, flight, or freeze. And every human being does that. So the moods and emotions not only create a body, they live in the body, right? We're starting to understand that fascia, that moods and emotions are stored there. There's the modalities, for instance, somatic body work, right? So embodied kind of therapies where we're learning to let go of tension in the body. A great one is called TRE, tension/trauma reducing exercises. And what we find there, it's really helpful with people with, for instance, PTSD, because in the event, the part of the brain that's engaged is not the prefrontal cortex, all the thinking, it's the amygdala. In that moment, fight, flight, or freeze, we come back and the body goes, I'm in danger. I can't release that by thinking. I have to release that in the body. Right? So, and I tried to be, I will say, I feel like I'm very much a novice in the body because holy cow, look at how expansive. We can go down somatic work. We can go down neuroscience, right? All of those things. But the good news is every one of us has a body, right? Every one of us has access to this body 24/7. So we can start to go, oh, wow, I'm off center. Oh, right. In my book, I have a lot of, if you think about the body and language, right? We have a lot of sayings, stand up straight. He carried him on his back, right? We use all these things, we just may not realize it. And so for me, really what I want to help people do is just realize we do have a body. We are not brains on a stick, but rather we're part of this amazing thing called the human body.
Thank you, Croft. So
Yeah.
Delia asked to put the link for your training, please.
Yeah.
And for people that asked about the book, is just behind Croft.
Yeah. And you can just go to liquidaccordion.com and all of the information is there. If you want to just click on the QR code, but it is liquidaccordion.com. And check it out. I'm very proud of the book. It was a 5-year process, writing it, lots of rewriting, but what a fun thing. And so hopefully it's helpful.
Any more questions? We have 6 minutes. How did you come up with this title for the book?
That actually came out of the research in emotional anatomy. Because he talked about this idea that we are this accordion navigating the world. And for me, it was very profound because as I was learning about this thing called somatics, people would say, we coach in the body, but nobody could tell me why. And that led me to emotional anatomy. And I started to see this idea we are this liquid accordion because we're mostly just liquid. Right? I think we're 70% liquid. Obviously, we got bones in there, but we're mostly liquid. And it is the expansion and contraction that then determines how we navigate the world. And we have to be able to do that, right? Because that then determines what emotions I have, what I see, that kind of thing.
Great. Thank you, Croft. Can you stop sharing your...
Yep, I can.
Everybody got the QR code?
Yep.
Yeah, just bought on Amazon, Joseph said.
Perfect. Oh, well, thank you.
So Croft is all over LinkedIn, Instagram, or well, you find Croft Amazon and Croft. We are so grateful that you came here. I think it is like people are just everybody. There's a person asking if the course and the book are only in English.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, maybe I'm going to have Marta help me with some translation.
Let's do it. So another Delia again asking the link for the training course. If you want to put the link in the
it's just liquidaccordion.com. It's all right there.
The website. Yes. Everything is there. Liquidaccordion.com.
Yep.
And if you didn't get it, this recording will be in the YouTube of ICF Brazil. You can go there maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. The next week we'll be there. All the events we prepared for the International Coaching Week, and you can see there and you can pause, but it's liquidaccordion.com. Everything is there, right, Croft?
Yep, and I have one of those names. There's only one Croft Edwards, so you type Croft Edwards, you're going to find me.
Perfect. And it's our cowboy, so yeah. Well, Diana is putting here my takeaways. We can notice how our body is when we are not feeling the way we want. Consider what emotions we want to feel and what our body is in that case, and practice putting our body in the position for the emotion story we want to feel. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. There are lots of people accomplishing you, Croft. We are so grateful for you coming. Last announcements. Please check it out for people from Brazil. Tomorrow we have 2 events. One about DISC methodology, and one the book the clown and the psychoanalysis is a great session, but Thursday morning we'll have a bilingual session again with Dan Newby. He's a PCC coach, ICF, and the name is The Flow of Emotions as the Resourcing Coaching. Please find it out. You can go to the events in the website of ICF or in our link tree. If Andrea, you could put the link tree here so we can check it out, because it will be in English and also in Portuguese. And we are going to talk about emotions. So super complimentary of Croft's presentation today. So
and Dan is phenomenal.
Thank you so much. Dan is
Dan
phenomenal.
is phenomenal. Yes, love Dan.
The webinar will be The Flow of Emotions as a Resource in Coaching. So Andrea or Fernanda, can you put the link of our link tree with all the events we have for the week? Because this is one that will have translation here. And any last words, Croft, please?
Go be a beginner.
I love you. I love you. This is perfect. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. You can open your mic and say goodbye from all over the place. Bye, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed your session. Bye-bye. Sorry for anything English.
That was great.
Bye.
Goodbye, Marlon.
Thank you, Croft.
Thank you. Thank you,
Much better than in Portuguese, right?
That's right. Yes.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Shirley, Tanya, RK, Werner, Rocio. Bye, David. Bye, Fabiana. No, not Fabiana. Bye, Eugenio. I'm just helping people to get out of the room.
Yeah.
People leave the seat, but don't leave the... Okay, the last one. Hold on. Great! So let me stop the recording.